I won't lie, I'm starting to get a little concerned that the Bulls have seemingly lost that momentum, that energy, and maintaining competitiveness that we had seen over the past month or so. I know it's the second night of a traveling back-to-back. The Bulls are shorthanded, not having Nikola Vucevic. That is a big loss, as much as some Bulls fans like to think it isn't. What he contributes on offense, not only just from his scoring, but being a hub and connector on the offense from the paint to the outside, is sorely missed. But even still, the Knicks are also without their starting center in Mitchell Robinson, who is out for the remainder of the season. They literally just added a new player to the roster in OG Anunoby, so they're still figuring things out under this new lineup. So we can make excuses for the Bulls all we want, but these last two games, with last night's non-competitive loss against the Sixers, and then this game, they were competitive for most of it to start the game, but completely fell apart in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, where the Knicks outscored the Bulls 65-45 in the second half. I get it. You're tired, and let's be real, the Bulls' schedule has been grueling. They still have played more games than any other team in the league at this moment, which just seems ridiculous that they can't schedule these out more evenly across all teams over an 82-game season. Yes, all teams end up playing the same amount anyway, but you don't want to give any one team an advantage or disadvantage and ensure that games or back-to-backs travel is as evenly spread as possible across the association. But whatever, we'll save that for a different discussion. But even the difficult schedule aside, it's still no excuse for the effort the Bulls came out with tonight, and crumbling in the fourth quarter with very poor execution. Fatigue or not, that was piss poor effort. Defense tonight was terrible. Outside of Alex Caruso, no one really seemed to care to give an effort on that end of the floor. On offense, the Bulls actually shot the ball well from three, finally, after having a stretch of 4 to 5 games where they were shooting terribly from outside. Tonight, they shot 40% from three, but for the life of them, they could not finish inside. Since when did Isaiah Hartenstein become one of the best rim protectors in the NBA? When the dude was on the court, guys couldn't even make layups. Close range jump shots weren't falling. 40% from three is good. 41% overall from the field, not good. And especially when you're not moving the ball around well enough, you're not passing the ball, it's getting sticky, the pace is slow. Yeah, you're not going to generate a ton of offense that way. And it's concerning because you're talking about a return to the old Bulls that we saw earlier this season. A team that looked like they were going to have a hard time winning 30 games on the year. Now, I hope that's not the case. I certainly hope that this is just a bad couple of games. The injuries are finally starting to catch up to them. Yeah, they were doing fine without Zach, and then even when Vucevic went down, Drummond was balling, so everything seemed okay, and yeah, guys were stepping up, but is that going to be sustainable over time? And perhaps that's catching up with the Bulls now, who clearly look exhausted out there. Now, Billy Donovan did say it's possible Zach LaVine might be back by Friday for the Bulls game against the Hornets, which the Bulls have to win that game, by the way. Back-to-back games against the Hornets. That needs to be back-to-back wins if you're the Bulls. And it'll be interesting to see how this goes with Zach coming back, especially if Vucevic remains out of the lineup for a little bit longer. Will Zach fit right back in? Will we kind of go back to what we were seeing before, where the vibes weren't good, the Bulls weren't playing well? Maybe Zach is just what the Bulls need right now with how they've been struggling on offense. I don't know. But what I do know is it's going to be weird if Zach is still clearly looking like he's checked out from this team and can't wait to be traded. Even though everyone is saying the market for Zach is non-existent right now. But anyway, Zach coming back aside, the good thing about this game, Coby finally got his stroke back. Now, we'll see if he can keep that up and doesn't just go back to being an up and down streaky shooter, but for Coby, this was his best game over the last couple of weeks. Didn't play well in the fourth quarter, but then again, no one did. He was 6 for 9 from three. A stark contrast from his last 5 games, 26 points to go along with 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Defense, though, tonight for Coby, I mean, he tried. That's what I appreciate about him, is that he does try on defense, but he was getting bullied by Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, and Quentin Grimes. It didn't really matter who he was guarding. They were getting whatever they wanted. DeMar was a great game for him. Very efficient, kind of wish he took more shots, but the Knicks completely altered their defense in the second half to prevent him from getting any looks. He was 10 for 13 from the floor, 3 for 4 from 3, 28 points. Minus 25 though, but a lot of that was in the fourth quarter when the Knicks took over. Anyone who played to close out the game got hit hard with their on-court numbers. Andre Drummond, not a bad game, but really struggled to finish at the basket consistently against Isaiah Hartenstein. He still managed to get 16 rebounds because that's just what he does. Still got his double-double, 13 points, 16 rebounds, but the Bulls absolutely missed the on-ball creation that Vucevic brings and the ability to help space the floor. Like, even though Vucevic hasn't been hitting threes that well this season, he still takes them, and it's enough that defenses have to come out on the perimeter to guard him and unclog the paint a bit. Andre Drummond just does not take threes, and he never will. Not sure what was going on with Patrick Williams in this game. 2 for 8, 5 turnovers. I thought he was going to be much more of a force on Julius Randle and make it a rough night for him, but Randle just outworked him really in every facet of the game, making P. Will a non-factor. And then for guys coming off the bench, Ayo, not his night. He could not hit shots, was 2 for 12, and even struggled finishing at the basket when he's at his best in getting downhill in transition. And then Javon Carter, man, I don't know what's been going on with this guy. This was the Bulls' main free agency signing, a guy who was going to come in and be that shooter that the Bulls needed to help change their shooting profile, and he just cannot hit a thing right now. He's not even taking good shots either. And for a point guard, he's really bad at reading the offense and finding the open man. Not a good creator. He'll get into the paint and then not really know what to do with it. I mean, I hope he turns things around and at least becomes the high-level shooter we saw last season in Milwaukee, because more recently, he's been a non-factor for the Bulls, even on the defensive end. Anyway, kind of like in yesterday's postgame video, not really sure what else to say about this one. With this loss, the Bulls actually fall back to 11th in the standings, with the Hawks winning tonight. The Raptors also won, so they're back to being tied with the Bulls. The Nets, though, they continue to struggle. They lose yet again, so the Bulls are only a half game back behind the Nets. We need these next two games. Against the Hornets. Got to beat them. Zach, back or not, they've got to beat the Hornets. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on the game. Maybe I'm blowing all this out of proportion a little bit, so let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.